Hello everybody, welcome to my video. Today we're going to be exploring the possibilities of Gregory's true identity. There's a lot of different theories out there ranging from robots to crying children, but I believe that Gregory isn't actually Gregory. Now, this wouldn't change much, but it does raise the question, where is Gregory? Before we can answer that question, we have to answer this. Is Gregory really Gregory? I'm going to be saying Gregory a lot in this video, so we're just going to call him Greg. Greg from the FNAF franchise first appeared as a playable character in FNAF Security Breach. There's a lot of theories surrounding him, with people not believing that he is just some random kid off the street who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. These people believe that he is part of something bigger. From all the information I've learned so far, I believe that Greg is a human and he isn't evil. I don't believe, however, that he is Greg. The first piece of evidence that I have for this is when Freddy Fazbear, Glamrock Freddy, asks Greg what his name is at the start of the game. Greg stutters and hesitates when he gives Freddy his name. Now this seems like a normal thing for a young child to be scared when they're alone in a pizzaplex in the middle of the night, talking to an animatronic whose makers have a history of making animatronics that have killed people. But Gregory isn't scared of Freddy, indicated before when he tells Freddy to shut up.
Shh! Will you shut up?
And straight up climbs into Freddy when he is sleeping. This shows us that he isn't scared and there must be a different reason he hesitated, like Greg isn't his real name.
Dun, dun, dun.
Once I realized this, I began to research into who he could be. And my first idea clicked. Tony from the FNAF Tales of the Pizzaplex books fits perfectly with all the evidence. Let's unpack this one piece at a time. First, from the books, we know that someone called Tony has a friend called Greg. In the books, we find out that Greg and Tony both know about the Pizzaplex. In the Pizzaplex, every single arcade machine has the same name under its high score, GGY. Tony wants to find out who GGY is and how they got all the high scores on the games. The book tells us that Tony investigated by asking staff members about GGY and the high scores. The staff told him that they didn't know who GGY was, but they knew they must have had after-hours access to the Pizzaplex using hacked security pass. From the game, we learn that Gregory doesn't have this magic security badge because lots of the quests involve him looking for security badges. GGY in the books must know the layout of the Pizzaplex well, because how else would he be able to get high scores on all the arcade machines without getting caught? Greg in the game also doesn't know the layout of the Pizzaplex, as he first gets his Fazwatch from Freddy at the start of the game, so he knows where to go. If Greg was GGY, he would already have a Fazwatch. So why could he be Tony then? From these facts, we learned that Greg in the games is definitely not GGY from the books. GGY in the books is clearly Greg in the books, and Tony must be tripping or something if he didn't realize that. Tony is investigating GGY because lots of children have recently gone missing in the Pizzaplex, and Tony believes GGY could be behind it. Tony wrote his assignment on this at school, and his friends would edit things like spelling mistakes and missing details. Greg, GGY, would have seen this theory and realized that he was going to be discovered. At the end of the book, Greg offers to take Tony to the Pizzaplex to meet some friends. Immediately after this, the book finishes, so we can assume that Tony and Greg are both in the Pizzaplex. The introductory cutscene of Security Breach. During a show, we see Freddy malfunctioning, detecting a child in the audience, and then falling over and switching off. I believe that the friends Greg was talking about were the animatronics, and Greg used his tech skills somehow to try and change Freddy from show mode to kill mode, so that Tony wouldn't discover the truth. Since this plan didn't work, Greg would have been discovered beneath the stage when Freddy was being taken back to his green room. Greg would have been chased by the guard who stopped dragging Freddy. Tony would have seen Greg being chased and, with his quick thinking, climbed into Freddy's chest cavity to hide. Greg would have been chased out the pizzaplex and abandoned Tony, thinking when Freddy woke up it would be over for him. Luckily for Tony, Freddy woke up in safe mode, and that's how Tony would be there. Now, there's a lot of assumption between the intro cutscene and Greg waking up in Freddy's chest, but from the evidence shown that Greg in the games is different from Greg in the books, it is more likely that the character we play as is actually Tony. To summarize, from the evidence in the book and the game, Greg seems like a different person. Tony is the most likely person to be Greg, and there is actually a plausible way he got in Freddy. But hey, that's just my hypothesis. My lore hypothesis. Thanks for watching.